What if I told you there's a powerful practice that can unlock your full potential, boost your energy, focus, and confidence, all by retaining something as fundamental as your sexual energy? Semen retention isn't just an ancient practice, it's a modern secret to mastering your mind, body, and spirit. In this video, we'll explore how this practice can help you tap into a deeper sense of power and self-mastery. Manly P. Hall regarded sexual energy, or the generative force, as a powerful link between our physical existence and higher spiritual dimensions. In The Secret Teachings of All Ages, he explains how ancient mystery schools taught that the same energy capable of creating life could be consciously redirected to foster profound self-transformation. Instead of viewing sexuality purely as a bodily impulse, Hall believed these traditions treated it as a sacred resource for cultivating deeper insights and elevating human consciousness. Central to Hall's teachings is the idea that sexual energy reflects the macrocosmic creative process at work in the universe. By intentionally harmonizing with these grander cosmic forces, individuals can channel the potency of sexual energy toward greater awareness and spiritual growth. This approach does not call for the outright denial of sexuality, but rather for a reverent, mindful use of it. When uncontrolled indulgence disperses one's life force, it leads to stagnation. When wisely directed, it paves the way for heightened creativity and inner evolution. In Hall's view, sexual energy stands at a threshold between the material realm and elevated planes of consciousness. Properly harnessed, it becomes a ladder for self-actualization, while neglect or misuse can bind a person to base desires. Hall introduced the concept of philosophical chastity, or deliberate stewardship of this vital force. Through self-mastery and transmutation of raw impulses into higher virtues, such as compassion and wisdom, one progresses on a path that can culminate in what he symbolically referred to as the white stone, representing purified consciousness and illumination. When applied to semen retention, Hall's ideas emphasize that the practice is about more than merely conserving physical fluid. It involves transforming and refining this fundamental life force into a source of profound creativity, spiritual insight, and personal empowerment. By choosing when and how to expend energy, practitioners step into an alchemical role, shaping their desires into purposeful action. Over time, this energetic refinement may pave the way for deeper self-discovery, enhanced mental clarity, and ultimately, a closer alignment with one's highest spiritual potential. Similar ideas show up in Kundalini Yoga, particularly in the writings of Swami Sivananda, where sexual energy is seen as a dormant power waiting to be awakened. Through practices like breathwork and meditation, this energy can be transmuted and channeled toward higher states of consciousness. Instead of draining yourself, you're fueling personal growth, enabling a powerful shift from mundane urges to transformative potential. Reflecting on this connection between East and West, Manly P. Hall once wrote that the same creative forces which can ensnare us in lower desires, when mastered, become the key to transcendent insight. In The Secret Teachings of All Ages, he often emphasized the sacredness of these generative powers, suggesting that consciously guiding them rather than letting them roam freely could bridge the gap between physical existence and the deeper realms of the human spirit. By recognizing the divine aspect of sexual energy and exercising deliberate control, aspirants effectively align with what Hall described as a cosmic creative current, carrying them beyond mere physical impulses toward profound spiritual illumination. If you're looking to experience this shift firsthand, try a simple breathing exercise. While inhaling deeply, visualize energy pooling in your lower chakras, then exhale and imagine that energy rising upward through your spine. Even a few minutes of focused practice can lead to a noticeable surge in vitality, mental clarity, and a greater sense of spiritual connection. Mantak Chia's approach, as laid out in The Multi-Orgasmic Man and other texts, integrates semen retention with Qigong or inner alchemy, practices aimed at nurturing and refining one's life force, qi. In traditional Taoist belief, Jing, often translated as essence, is considered the foundational energy of the body, and sexual fluid is seen as one of its most concentrated forms. By preserving and circulating this essence throughout the body, instead of allowing it to be lost, practitioners aim to strengthen vitality, heighten awareness, and support longevity. Techniques often involve meditative practices like the microcosmic orbit, where one learns to guide energy along specific channels or meridians in the body. Rather than merely avoiding ejaculation, the emphasis is on transforming and elevating this energy so it can nourish organs, clear energetic blockages, and ultimately align the practitioner with the natural flow of the cosmos. Ancient Taoist texts suggest that such disciplined cultivation not only promotes physical health, but also expands spiritual insight. The idea of refining sexual energy is not unique to Taoism. In Tantric traditions, particularly as described in texts like the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, sexual union is viewed as a sacred gateway to spiritual awakening. Here, the raw power of desire is intentionally channeled to foster deep meditative states, emotional intimacy, and heightened consciousness, sometimes referred to as union with the divine. These practices often include mantras, visualizations, and ritualized breathing that mirror Taoist methods of transmuting energy. Meanwhile, in Hermetic teachings, guided by the principle as above, so below, the notion of transmuting base substances into spiritual gold parallels the process of turning raw sexual energy into refined spiritual force. Hermetic law frames the human body as a microcosm reflecting universal patterns. By consciously refining one's drives and impulses, the practitioner symbolically performs an alchemical operation on the self. Whether in the East or the West, these traditions converge on one main theme: sexual energy, when directed with intention and reverence, becomes a powerful catalyst for personal growth, expanded awareness, and deeper connection to the larger cosmic framework. Practicing semen retention isn't only about spiritual or energetic gains, it also has profound psychological implications. Think of it as a discipline-building exercise that trains your mind to manage intense impulses. For instance, Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich famously introduced the concept of sexual transmutation, arguing that by consciously redirecting one of our most primal drives, we sharpen our focus, tenacity, and resilience. This process demands awareness of what triggers your impulses and the decision to rechannel that energy rather than suppress it. Over time, you cultivate a heightened sense of control that can ripple into other areas of life, whether that's sticking to a fitness routine, meeting deadlines, or pursuing creative passions. By placing intention behind when and how you expend your energy, you essentially train your brain to delay gratification, which studies in psychology consistently link to higher achievement and emotional well-being. Beyond discipline, there's also the potential for an uptick in motivation, focus, and mental clarity. One explanation might lie in the sheer potency of sexual energy. When it's consistently channeled toward creative or professional goals, that intense drive can be harnessed in a meaningful way. Psychologically, this mirrors the concept of state elevation. When your body and mind perceive that you're holding on to a powerful source of energy, your attitude and ambitions often rise to match it. You may find yourself tackling complex tasks more readily, brainstorming new ideas, or simply experiencing less mental fatigue throughout the day. In essence, You're teaching yourself that your energy is a resource to be cultivated and directed, rather than an urge to be immediately discharged. Of course, none of this is easy at the start. Sexual impulses can be incredibly strong, and turning them into a force for good requires more than just willpower. It calls for a practical, step-by-step approach. A good first tactic is journaling. When you feel the pull of desire, write down what you're experiencing, your thoughts, emotions, time of day, and any triggers. This helps you spot patterns and anticipate when urges are most likely to appear. Exercise is another powerful ally. Physical activity not only channels excess energy but also releases endorphins that can stabilize your mood and reduce stress. Meanwhile, redirecting thoughts is a practical mental skill. When an urge strikes, shift your focus to a meaningful project or goal. For example, if you're in the middle of work, give yourself 5 minutes to practice deep breathing, or visualize yourself excelling in your career or creative endeavor. These techniques don't repress desire, rather they transform it, gradually building a mindset where each impulse serves as a reminder of your commitment to self-improvement. Ultimately, retention is less about denying pleasure and more about redefining it, choosing a broader, more fulfilling purpose for your energy. If you can endure the initial struggle of managing urges, you'll likely find greater clarity, confidence, and emotional balance waiting on the other side. One of the most compelling aspects of semen retention lies in its potential for manifestation. According to Hermetic axioms like all is mind, harnessing thought and emotion is key to creating your reality. When you redirect your sexual energy, arguably one of the most powerful forces we possess, you magnify that intention-setting process. Instead of allowing energy to dissipate, you're funneling it into visualization, affirmations, or creative projects. This intensification can be a game changer, helping you translate inner desires into tangible outcomes more swiftly. Retention and transmutation of sexual energy can create a palpable shift in how you carry yourself, ultimately boosting not just your spiritual journey, but your day-to-day interactions. Whether you aspire to advance in your career, deepen a meditation practice, or embark on a creative pursuit, semen retention can serve as an ally in clarifying and achieving your objectives. By consciously choosing where your energy flows, you align more closely with your true intentions, freeing yourself from unproductive habits or distractions. In short, each act of deliberate retention becomes a statement of self-mastery, fueling a momentum that can propel you toward the life you genuinely want to create. While formal studies on semen retention are still limited, some individuals report benefits like mood elevation or even a modest increase in testosterone levels. Though these findings remain largely anecdotal, they align with the psychological concept of self-efficacy, the belief that you can exert control over your own behavior. When you feel empowered to direct your sexual energy intentionally, that confidence may translate into tangible improvements in how you think and feel. It's also crucial to acknowledge the mind-body connection at play here. By consistently practicing retention, many people describe reduced stress, improved emotional balance, and an overall sense of well-being. Still, keep in mind that every individual's experience will differ. For some, retention may be life-changing, while for others, moderation or alternative approaches might work better. The key is finding a healthy balance that supports your personal goals without compromising your physical or mental health. From Manly P. Hall's esoteric insights to Taoist and Tantric practices, one theme remains consistent across these traditions. Semen retention holds transformative potential. If you're intrigued, please experiment safely and thoughtfully. Notice how you feel, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and adapt as you go. I'd also appreciate it if you could like this video, subscribe, and share it with anyone who might find it helpful. And please feel free to comment below. Your insights or experiences might inspire others on their journey. Remember, when you direct your innate energies with intention, you tap into a wellspring of personal power. Embrace it fully and watch how your life begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. Until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and keep exploring the deeper dimensions of your own potential.